This is the story of how a man who earned at least $48 million from one of Hollywood's most successful franchises ended up owing the federal government more than $11 million in unpaid taxes, and how settling that debt consumed the better part of 2 decades of his life. Chris Tucker was, at his peak, the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Not the highest paid black actor, not one of the top earners, but the single highest paid actor working anywhere in the industry. 3 rush hour films built that position, along with a negotiating track record that left studio executives genuinely stunned, and a screen presence that studios paid extraordinary sums to guarantee. Then came nearly a decade away from movies, and while the public saw very little of him, his finances were quietly coming apart behind the scenes. This video covers what actually happened, the verified numbers, the real timeline, and the full scope of a financial collapse that unfolded over years. Where it all started. Christopher Tucker came into the world on August 31st, 1971, in Atlanta, Georgia, the youngest of 6 children. His father, Norris, ran a janitorial service in Decatur, and that community is where Chris grew up, raised in a Pentecostal household under the Church of God in Christ. Columbia High School is where he finished his education, and in 1990 he packed up and moved to Los Angeles to chase a comedy career, the decision that shaped everything that followed. Those first years in Los Angeles were lean, built on the stand-up circuit and frequent spots on HBO's Def Comedy Jam in the early 90s, the same stage that launched a generation of African-American comedians. His delivery was hard to look away from. A physical, almost electric presence, a falsetto that could fill any room, timing that never seemed to cost him any effort. House Party 3 in 1994 was his film debut, but Friday in 1995 is where the real story started. Playing Smokey opposite Ice Cube's Craig, Tucker stole scene after scene the studios noticed, and the offers started arriving. What those studios didn't know yet was that the role paid him approximately $10,000. $10,000 for the performance that put him on Hollywood's radar. Within 2 years, Money Talks paid him $2 million, and that trajectory, 200 times his Friday salary in just 24 months, was only pointing one way. The rise from Friday to the top of Hollywood. Rush Hour opened on September 18, 1998, with Tucker playing Detective James Carter alongside Jackie Chan, and $244 million in worldwide ticket sales confirmed what the studios had already started to believe. $3 million went to Tucker for that performance, enough to cement his status as a bankable draw. But the negotiation for Rush Hour 2 is what made genuine industry history. By the time his team finished talking, New Line Cinema had agreed to pay him $20 million for the sequel. Variety covered the deal and put it plainly. The contract made Tucker only the second African-American actor to reach that salary milestone, following Eddie Murphy, who received that sum for Nutty Professor 2, and placed him among a small handful of comic leading men who've been paid that much, including Jim Carrey, Murphy, Robin Williams, and Mike Myers, with Adam Sandler at or near that level. Rush Hour 2 opened on August 3, 2001, and earned $347 million worldwide, the single highest gross of the entire trilogy. From the studio's perspective, $20 million wasn't a gamble. It was a transaction, and Tucker delivered. Rush Hour 3 pushed the numbers even further, with Tucker securing $25 million in salary plus 20% of the gross, all part of a $40 million 2-film deal with New Line Cinema. August 10, 2007 was the opening date, and roughly $258 million in worldwide receipts came back. $3 million, then $20 million, then $25 million. Tucker's upfront take from the Rush Hour franchise alone totaled at least $48 million before any gross participation on the third film got calculated. $10,000 for Friday in 1995, $25 million for Rush Hour 3 in 2007, and 12 years, and a financial distance that is nearly impossible to describe in ordinary terms. And then everything started moving in the opposite direction. The bills arrive. What separates Tucker's story from some of the more dramatic celebrity tax cases is something worth understanding from the start. No fraud charges were ever filed. No criminal case ever opened. The government's action against him stayed civil throughout. Income came in, taxes were owed, and payments simply never arrived, year after year. California delivered the first public signal in June 2009, filing a state tax lien for $3,594,409 in unpaid state income taxes. A large number, and it made news at the time, but it turned out to be the opening act. On July 27, 2010, the IRS filed documents with the Los Angeles County Recorder's Office carrying a total that stopped people cold: $11,571,909.26 in unpaid federal taxes, spread across 5 specific tax years. Tax year 2001 accounted for $4,007,794. Tax year 2002 carried $5,060,074. Tax year 2004 added $55,544. Tax year 2005 contributed $660,414. And tax year 2006 brought $1,788,080. And here's the thing: 2001 and 2002 alone accounted for more than $9 million of that total, which meant the bulk of the debt traced directly to the rush hour 2 years, the very years Tucker sat at the top of the Hollywood pay scale. Penalties and interest compounded for years after that, pushing the total federal figure to approximately $14 million by 2014. Adding the California state lien of $3.59 million on top of that put the combined burden past $15 million. When reporters asked Tucker's representatives to explain it, the response came down to 5 words: poor accounting and business management. The real estate picture. The tax debt didn't develop in a vacuum. Running alongside it was a property story that showed exactly how Tucker had moved money during his peak years, and what the cost of that spending turned out to be once the income dried up. On June 20th, 2007, about 7 weeks before Rush Hour 3 even hit theaters, Tucker paid $6 million for a home in the Bella Colina community in Monteverde, Florida, near Orlando. Bella Colina is a 1,900-acre gated development on Lake Apopka, built around a golf course, and the monthly mortgage payment on the property came to $25,812.50. 5 bedrooms, 3 fireplaces, a personal spa, an outdoor kitchen, a pool, and the detail that every entertainment reporter seemed to lead with: a pirate ship-themed basement. By 2011, more than $4,400,000 remained owed on that property. The IRS lien sat over it, and the Lake County property appraiser had put the assessed value at approximately $1.6 million, roughly a quarter of what Tucker had paid 4 years earlier. SunTrust Bank filed foreclosure papers in October of that year, and the home ultimately sold through a short sale on March 14, 2012, at $1.7 million. $6 million paid in, $1.7 million recovered, and a loss of approximately $4.3 million on a single address. Tucker also owned homes in Tarzana, California, and in McDonough, Georgia. The Tarzana situation came with its own story: a 6,399 square foot home purchased in November 1996 for $1.1 million, and the house right next door picked up in 2001 for $2.4 million. Later, from the stage, Tucker turned it into a bit about buying 2 houses side by side and knocking on his own door asking to borrow sugar. The audience laughed, and none of it was invented. In 2014, the Georgia property drew an additional $2.5 million IRS lien as the collection effort kept expanding. Going back on stage. What often gets lost in the telling of this story is how Tucker actually responded to it publicly, and the answer is that he didn't retreat. Around 2011, with SunTrust filing foreclosure papers and the IRS lien running across every entertainment page, Tucker launched what he described, only half-jokingly, as his IRS tour, returning to stand-up clubs and theaters and working his financial situation directly into the act. "That's the last time I let Wesley Snipes help me out with my taxes," he told those audiences, and every person in the room understood instantly. Snipes had been convicted in 2008 of failing to file federal returns and spent 3 years in federal prison. Tucker's situation was civil, not criminal. Nobody was putting him in handcuffs, but the cultural reference landed. To the Daily Beast, Tucker offered a more considered version of events. "It gave me stuff to talk about and got me to take care of business. I can't tell the details of it. I wish I could. But stuff happens, you learn, and you just take care of it." And from the stage came the line that captures the situation better than anything a journalist could construct. "I made a lot of money in the past, and I thought it was all mine." Thought it was all mine. That's where the problem starts for a lot of people who come into serious money quickly. Athletes, musicians, actors, where the tax obligation feels abstract until the government arrives and makes it very concrete. Tucker earned tens of millions of dollars, spent as though all of it was available, and the IRS position was simply that he had never paid what was owed. Silver Linings Playbook brought him back to screens in 2012, a supporting role in David O. Russell's Oscar-winning film, and it reminded anyone who needed reminding what Tucker looked like when given the right material. 3 years after that, Netflix released his stand-up special, Chris Tucker Live, in 2015. The Debt That Kept Coming Back. August 2014 produced a settlement on the earlier IRS matter, the one that had grown to approximately $14 million from the original 2010 lien. Tucker's representatives confirmed the resolution and declined to discuss terms. Starting in 2017, monthly installment payments of approximately $38,000 went to the IRS, and that arrangement held until 2019, when federal documents filed in the years that followed confirmed Tucker had defaulted. November 2021 brought a federal lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Nevada, seeking $9,684,452 across 4 specific tax years. $4,614,000 for 2002, $2,182,000 for 2006, $2,406,000 for 2008, $481,000 for 2010. Buried inside that complaint were details that told the pattern plainly. Tucker's 2002 federal return was filed on December 15, 2008, 6 full years later. For tax year 2008, he paid the IRS $127,169, while the government's assessment came to roughly $2.4 million. For 2010, the payment that actually arrived was $4,642 against a liability of nearly $500,000. The complaint's language didn't leave much room for interpretation. Tucker had neglected, refused, or failed to fully pay the assessments against him. October 2023 closed it out. $3,580,000 plus interest settled a claim that had started at $9.68 million, with Bloomberg Tax and The Hollywood Reporter both confirming the terms. Between the 2014 deal, the installment payments from 2017 through 2019, and the 2023 resolution, Tucker spent the better part of 15 years in active negotiation with the federal government over taxes that accumulated during the years he topped Hollywood's pay scale. He was not alone, but his case was distinct. Celebrity tax debt has a long and well-documented history in this industry, and a few comparisons are worth laying out because they show where Tucker's case fits and where it doesn't. Wesley Snipes owed approximately $7 million to the IRS, less than Tucker's federal liability alone, and spent 3 years in federal prison after a criminal conviction for willful failure to file returns. Tucker's situation never came near that territory. No criminal charge, no fraud allegation, no prosecution. The government's position was civil from start to finish. Income existed, taxes were due, payment didn't arrive. That difference carries real legal weight. Nicolas Cage owed $14 million to the IRS as of 2010, attributed it to his money manager, and reportedly cleared the debt by 2022. Willie Nelson carried a tax burden estimated between $16 and $32 million in the 1990s, sold assets, and recorded an album specifically to raise settlement funds, releasing it under the title The IRS Tapes, Who'll Buy My Memories? Lil Wayne faced liens that grew past $12 million by 2014 before settling in 2019. In that company, Tucker's story follows a recognizable arc: exceptional earnings, insufficient planning, years of penalties and negotiation. But the specific numbers stand apart. $25 million for a single film, a federal debt that, at its reported peak of roughly $14 million, represented close to 30% of his rush hour earnings alone. When Tucker was asked in a 2023 radio interview why he had stepped back from Hollywood after reaching its highest salary tier, his answer reframed the entire situation. The way I kind of stepped back from Hollywood, at one point being the highest paid actor in Hollywood, I felt like it was a ceiling right there. I wanted more. It wasn't enough. What that wanting led to, in financial terms, is what this video has been laying out. Where things stand now. In 2023, the same year Tucker settled the federal lawsuit, he appeared in Air, Ben Affleck's film about the creation of the Air Jordan brand, playing Nike executive Howard White. Critics responded well, and the performance reminded audiences who had moved on that the talent behind those rush hour contracts hadn't gone anywhere. Stand-up has remained a constant through all of it. The Legends Tour ran 30 dates between September 2023 and January 2024, followed by the Riyadh Comedy Festival in 2025, dates at the Wynn Las Vegas, and a show at Tampa's Seminole Hard Rock. The road work that kept him solvent during the hardest years continues to anchor his professional schedule. Rush Hour 4 is where the story takes its most telling turn. Trade reports from late 2025 and into 2026 confirmed the project in active development, with Paramount in talks to distribute, and Brett Ratner, who directed all 3 original films, reportedly attached to return. Tucker and Jackie Chan were each reportedly offered approximately $8 million, a figure that, set against the $25 million Tucker received for Rush Hour 3, makes the shift in his market position immediately apparent. As of mid-2026, deals had not been finalized, and production remained unconfirmed. Current estimates of Tucker's net worth vary depending on the source. Celebrity Net Worth's own listing puts the figure at $10 million, with an explicit note that during the 2000s his net worth sat at effectively negative. Many other financial outlets land closer to $5 million. All of these are estimates rather than verified figures, and anyone citing a specific number with full confidence is working from incomplete information. What can be said with reasonable certainty is that the period of genuinely negative net worth appears to have ended. One thing worth stating directly, because versions of the opposite claim continue to circulate: Tucker never filed for bankruptcy, not once. He faced the debt head-on, worked through 2 separate settlements, made monthly payments for years, and came out on the other side with the government's claims resolved. Away from the financial headlines, Tucker has also run the Chris Tucker Foundation, focused on youth health and education, a thread of his life that continued through even the most difficult years. Chris Tucker's story doesn't resolve into a clean lesson. No single moment of recklessness, no one bad decision, no outside villain who made off with the money. What actually happened was quieter than that and, in its own way, more instructive. Extraordinary income arrived fast, spending matched the pace of it, and the tax obligations that come with that kind of money went unaddressed until the government spent more than a decade making them impossible to ignore. Genuinely the highest paid actor in Hollywood, and that wasn't a stretch or a rumor. The Rush Hour trilogy earned nearly $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales. His salary put him in the same company as Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, and Eddie Murphy. None of that protected him once the checks stopped coming and the obligations kept accumulating. No prison time, no bankruptcy filing, no permanent exit from the business. From the stage, during the worst years of it, he described the core of the problem as clearly as anyone could. "I made a lot of money in the past, and I thought it was all mine." That belief, held for too long, is what the better part of 2 decades cost him to correct. And by most accounts, the correction has been made. The headlines cover the glamour. Backstage Hollywood covers what comes after. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.